Hey, Travis, just wanted to ask about your group's 5-on-5 play and how consistent it's been through the entire postseason to this point. How pleased have you been with it, and how important has it been to your success overall to this point?
Yeah, I've been happy with it. There's been a lot of buy-in from our group. I think defensively, we've taken some steps. And, defensive hockey is, you need a commitment from your group to do it and to buy in, and you need it throughout your lineup. When we played Minnesota, it was a heavier team. I felt like we spent some time in our zone and played pretty well. And obviously against a team that just won the Stanley Cup last year, you're going to have to be good in that area if you want to win.
Next up, we have Alexander Pratt, La Presse.
I'd like to know regarding what happened to Claude Julien today. Can you talk to us a bit about how stressful this job is?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I think you asked how stressful the job is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I hope Claude's all right. He's been a great coach in the league for a long time. I just heard it walking in what happened, and my thoughts, prayers are with him. I hope everything's going to be all right. The job coaching is stressful. I think all of us coaches like it, though. Not like it, love it. If you don't love being in the having the stress on you and being in these kind of games, you're probably not long for coaching. But I think if you asked any coach, they want the pressure. They want to play. They want to coach in these big games and even further, right down to the Stanley Cup. And obviously Claude's been there. So there's definitely some pressure, though. And that's what it's all about. That's what sports is about.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN.
Thank you. Hey, Travis. Could you elaborate a bit on your approach to using Quinn Hughes in the postseason? 93% of his zone starts have been in the offensive zone, up from 66 in the regular season. Is that a number you see coming down as he gets more comfortable, or is this going to be, you think, his best usage in the postseason?
Are you saying that we're starting him more in the offensive zone?
Yeah.
Well, he's a pretty good offensive player, I think. So we're going to try to get him out there in the offensive zone as much as we can. I think he also plays against top lines as well. We're not hiding him by any means. I don't know what he's averaging in minutes, so it's hard to hide a guy that plays 22 to 26 minutes. So we're pretty confident in him in any area of the game. But obviously, when there's an offensive zone face-off, it's a good chance you're going to see him out there. He's one of our best offensive defensemen, I think. So we're going to try to get him out there.
Next up, Patrick Johnston, Post Media.
Hey, Travis. I just wanted to circle back to what you were saying to Batch earlier about your ability to get buy-in from your team and work on your 5-on-5 play. How much of that as well has been a reflection of the fact you were able to have so much time to actually break down what your team had been doing this season with this group, and to be able to come back almost with, maybe some more tailored approaches to what you were trying to get from them?
It's definitely part of it. I think every season as a staff, we evaluate our game, evaluate all parts of our game, areas that we need to improve in. The 4 months off, we challenged our players to come back better shape, stronger, but also our coaching staff to make improvements within ourselves and our team, and then figure out where we need to get better and how we're going to get better without taking away from certain parts of our game. And we had some time to work on it through training camp, which you get to every year, but obviously going into this situation, you had a little more time.
Jeff Patterson, TSN 1040.
Travis, you guys have won 4 in a row here now. I know it's over 2 series, but I think back to middle of the season when you went 14-3 on that run as well. What's your role as a head coach in keeping guys focused, or is this group pretty good at just worrying about the next game?
As far as my role, I think, continue to do what I've always done. Have open dialogue with our group, where we're at, where our game's at, what we need to do to win the next game, what our expectations are. Much like if we lose a game, I think at this time of the year, it's probably much easier to get your team focused and ready to play the next game. The stakes are high at this time of year, so you expect that. But as coaches, we need to prepare our team and have them ready to play. Part of it is physically with rest and practice, and part of it is through video, and part of it is mentally, making sure that they understand, and especially with a young group, having a lot of dialogue. There's obviously older teams in the league that have gone through a lot of things where they understand probably a little quicker or a little easier. And I've always been a believer in having that open dialogue with your team.
Brendan Batchelor, Sportsnet 650.
Hey, Travis, this is a bit of a different question, but we saw the 5 overtime game between Columbus and Tampa, a couple days ago here. Do you guys talk as a staff about, planning for the potential of a long game like that, in terms of like with your training staff about nutrition and what the guys need to eat between periods and all of those sorts of things in the event that you do see a game that goes multiple overtimes?
No, we don't even think about anything like that, Batch. We just, hopefully there's a couple Snicker bars around and away we go. But all joking aside, hockey's come a long way when it comes to nutrition and preparation, and I have full confidence. It's not something that we need to really have a big meeting about, but we'll make sure they've got some supplies around for food if they need it, and if we go into a long overtime like that.
Next up, we have Farhan Lalji, TSN.
I was just joking, Bash.
Travis, you guys have outscored your opponents in the last 3 games, 7-0 in the third period and in overtime. You wouldn't necessarily expect a young team to be able to handle those kinds of pressure moments as well as you have of late. What do you attribute that to?
Again, just our team buying in and playing the right way. Being resilient. You can be resilient and score. Part of being resilient is how you defend, and part of it is sticking with your game and pushing forward. And, I think mentally we've stayed focused in our game, and it's good to see.
Patrick Johnston, Post Media.
Travis, do you have any concerns that JT might miss warm-up tomorrow?
No, not a lot. I think he'll be out there for warm-up.
Jim Morris, CBC.
Travis, in normal times, you would be going home. You'd play tomorrow night. You'd be going home either with a split on the road or up 2-0. Which, a split on the road in the playoffs is still a good thing. You'd be going home to the hometown fans, all that sort of thing. That's not happening now. You're going to be in the same building on Sunday in the same place. Does that change the dynamics at all? I know the guys would still be happy whatever happened, but not having the hometown, not going back home, that sort of thing.
I don't think so. That's not even going to be. We're not talking about that at all with our group. I seem to say this every second day. We're just worry about the things that we can control. And right now, Game 2 is a big game for them. It's a big game for us. Got to get 4 to win a series, and we'll be ready to play Game 2, and that's all we're worried about.
And we have time for a final question from Brendan Batchelor.
I'm going to circle back on the long overtime stuff quickly here, Travis. What was the longest game you played in? And, what is the challenge for players if and when you get to a situation where the game keeps going and the puck hasn't gone in yet, and battling through potentially playing, the equivalent of 2 games in one night?
I think just everything's magnified. Your attention to detail, being strong on the puck. I think I played in a couple triple overtimes. It's just being mentally focused. It doesn't really change what you're talking about in the first 3 periods, to be honest. You'd be amazed at how long guys can play and stick with it. These guys are good players. It's hard to play in the NHL. It's hard to make the NHL. And they want to win bad, so playing a couple extra periods, it's not really, you do whatever it takes to win. And, again, just your attention to detail, certain puck battles. But these are the same things you're going to talk about at the beginning of every game as well. And I think it's trying to stay aggressive in your game, but also responsible defensively.